what's up? So, yesterday I went full tinfoil hat. I literally made one, put it on and was wearing it. I kind of like having it on, but I don't know if I'll wear it all the time. I do believe in the EMF stuff, but anyway, I was having kind of like an episode today, and it's pretty tough. And I'm not sure what brings it on. Like, because I went to church and I ate carbs like pasta and rice and bread, which I generally try not to eat a lot of. And I get like an episode and it's so difficult to deal with. I don't even know what it exactly is. Yeah, it's really tough. But it's weird because I just wait. Like if I wait it out, that's like the best thing I can do. Seriously. Because if I'm like in one of those kind of like episodes and I start talking to people and if they start asking me how I am, or if like I start going off on a tangent, yeah, it can have consequences like I don't know, I just feel like really guilty when I'm in an episode. I feel like worthless almost. Not worthless, but because I know I have worth, almost like on a faith level, beyond feeling in a sense, but I just feel like terrible if I'm in like an episode, you know? And it can be really tough. But the thing is that I don't think I'm like the only person that this happens to. I think maybe I'm one of the only people who talks about it. I'm sure other people talk about it too, but I don't I don't hear about it a lot. But yeah, it's just like it feels terrible. Like I was like sitting on the couch and I'm just like sitting there like kind of like barely looking around. You know, like just things don't even like seem like everything seems different and weird. Like things don't even seem, it's not that they don't seem real, because things do kind of seem real. Like it's not really totally like derealization, but in a sense it's close, because things kind of seem, I don't know, different in a way. And also like I I question all my like life decisions as well, and I feel like it's almost like the story falls apart in a sense. But then like a few hours later or like later on, it can change and I feel kind of like better again. Like right now I feel a bit better. I went for a walk, so like I ordered food. Thanks be to God, I have the ability to do that, and that there's that service. And then I ate something, like I had, I actually had more rice. I ordered like butter chicken and rice. And then I went for a walk to the dollar store. And when I was at the dollar store, like I live in a bad area, but there was like this native guy there and a East Indian security guard, and they were like yelling at each other, almost getting into a fight. The East Indian guy, security guard, was saying like, "I will call 911," and he's like, "Do not move." And then the native guy, indigenous, aboriginal, whatever, Native American guy, he's like, "Sup, buddy, fuck." He's like yelling it, and it's like, man, it's so ghetto in my area. And then I bought some things, and I came home, and like the episode sort of like ended. You know what I mean? I guess you don't, but Like, this is crazy. And like, then I started to feel a bit better in a sense, but like, I would say that the hard part is just the unpredictability, and then also not having any real support during it, not much anyway. I'm only starting to get a little bit of support around it, and that's because I've been only starting to be able to like identify and speak on it and not be so identified with it in a sense. Like, it's something that happens to me, and I don't have to identify so strongly with all those different feelings that happen during those kind of episodes. But I will say it still is really tough, like seriously. And if you're somebody who struggles with something similar, or with chronic pain or chronic something, instability in some way, I know how it is, and I feel badly for you as well, because that is really hard to deal with. It's really hard to deal with. And but the sun shines again, and I've actually seen people in kind of like really bad states, and it's tough to help people like that, because they don't really believe anything, but at the same time they hear everything, and sometimes later, after they've thought about it, then they'll say something to you about what you said during when they're having like a low period or something like that. But I used to have this roommate, and I was actually living with a couple. First I was living with a guy, and then he got a girlfriend and she moved in. And it wasn't ideal, but it was okay. And she was having like a really bad time one day, I remember. And I guess like a whole bunch of things were happening to her that were like, it was like one bad thing after another. And then finally she was like sitting on the floor with the vacuum, and it was broken, or the Swiffer. And she had broken the Swiffer, and she was like sitting on the floor slumped with it. And she was like not crying, but like whimpering or like moaning or something about it, like I'm not trying to make fun of her, but it was kind of like that's how it was. And I just said to her like, and she was saying something like looking up, and I was just like, when it rains it pours. It's true. Sometimes when it rains it pours. It's like it can be really bad. And I think that's why faith is necessary to kind of transition into meaning here, talking about meaning. Honestly, I think that's why is important and faith is important. Because it's like a lighthouse, it's like a North Star, it's like a what am I aiming toward when things are bad? And it sounds cliche, but it really is true. So like my faith I put in Jesus Christ, and that's who I come back to even after I've sinned, or even after things are hard and things are bad, because that is love, and that is Jesus is love, and is peace, is security, does love us. And that's why I aim toward Jesus, and follow Jesus. So I think that's really important. And I make that point because I've heard all kinds of things. I've heard all kinds of things concerning when things are bad, hard times, and all kind of like psychology, psychiatry, and everything else. And it's weird because I've even heard from like psychiatrists, they said they don't even think that the why matters. And I'm like, that is so not good. That's not a good thing to tell any patient. But that's kind of how psychiatry is. and or at least that psychiatrist was. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I actually corrected her right then and there. I said, of course the why is important. That's what gets you through the hard times. You know what I mean? But anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to make this vlog to talk about that. And then, so, okay. So back to dating. I think I've got a date with a girl tomorrow. And, you know, I kind of like her, so I don't know, it's weird. When I like somebody, I don't know, it makes it harder in a sense, it makes it worse. But I think I'm just going to try and, you know, man up and just go on the date. And I already told her, like, let's talk about religion, politics, and history. Because oftentimes women, they want, I don't know, it's like they don't know what they want is first off, but they do want to be led, and they also, especially when there's like uncertainty, like they're looking for something strong, and they're also looking to play off of it. Like, it's like the whole thing about, maybe you've heard shit test, that women do this, they test men to see their strength, and that's true, but yeah, when women are afraid, they test even more. Like they start asking more questions and stuff, and but whatever. I mean, I told her, like, let's study, or let's talk about religion, politics, and history, because like I matched with this girl on Hinge, the dating app, and she said she was interested in the Roman Empire. And she's like some kind of university student, but she's also a Christian. So it actually seems pretty good, because she says that she does like street advocacy, meaning that she goes out on the street and talks to people about abortion. She's like pro-life and anti-abortion, which I thought that was good. She asked me about that. I said, yeah, I am too. I agree. So, yeah, I'm not gonna put too many eggs in the basket, or in one basket, but I do think that it's these are good things. Like, I'm happy to go on a date, you know. I went on a date, man, I was talking about it in my last vlog. It wasn't great. And I realized now, when I was talking about it, I made myself sound like such a jerk. And in a sense, kind of, I was a jerk in a bit of a sense, but contextually it made sense. Seriously though, it made sense in context. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's a date tomorrow. And then the other thing, okay, I gotta make this point. This is an important point. When I go on these dating apps here, okay, so I live in Canada, and the women are so terrible. Like, I don't want to hate too much, but it's really bad. Like just dude, like, values wise, like, they have they're not Christian. They get pissed off if you ask them about God. They like, it's like, dude, it's like super feminist, super liberal, super like sarcastic, so many tattoos. Yeah, it's really tough. And then I switched my location, because you can, on these dating apps, you can switch your location. I switched it down to the USA. I switched it down to like Alabama, and the women are so much better. Seriously, like, they're like actual real women. Like, the women up here, I think they're really, like, I don't know, like, things up here are so bad, but I guess the women up here are just like extremely removed. I don't know about from reality, but from I'm not really sure how to put it exactly, but they're really annoying. Seriously, they're really annoying. Like the way they talk, it's super annoying. But the women in down south, and I get more matches too, which is weird. And it's like these women are more normal as well. Like they're more feminine, and that's the thing about the women up here is they're like more masculine in a sense. They want it like both ways, kind of. They want to be like the leader, girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, however it is. Like they want all that sarcasm and everything, and to be equal to men or above men and compete with men, but they also want to be like feminine at the same time, and it's just a complete disaster. It's a complete disaster up here. But the women down south, they actually look happy is one thing too. Like a lot of the women up here, they look like kind of insane. What I mean by that is it looks like a lot of it looks very forced. But the women down south, at least from the dating apps, but also if you watch like videos and stuff, like the people down south, they just seem more normal in a sense. So anyways, that's my takeaway from that. Just changing my dating app location. And already I got this one girl wanted me to take her out, and I told her like I was matching with some of the girls down there, and I was like talking to them, and like I try to match with like the Christian ones and that's another thing. There's way more Christian and conservative women down south. Up here it's like all liberal atheist. It's so terrible. And then there's a lot of weird spiritual agnostic stuff too. But the women down south, like, well, at least one of them that I matched with, she wanted to go out on a date, and I told her, I'm like, I'm from Canada, and she's like, I wish you could take me out and stuff, and you know, I mean, I believe she was being serious, but yeah, so it would be nice, like, I don't know. I do kind of wish I lived in America, honestly. The thing is, though, that in Canada, like, I am kind of at home here, although I do think I could relocate and adjust, but I do have an affinity or something about, like, where I was born in, that I kind of like it, even in the cold, you know? But I do find the people in the States, I appreciate them. And, yeah, so, yeah, I'm a fan of the South, especially. And I know things are bad, like, all over in certain ways, but I like America. I like the people. Yeah. So anyway, it's kind of my vlog. Wish me luck for tomorrow. Going on a date, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't. But I think it's good to go out on a date. You know, I don't really want to end up alone. I would like to get married and have children. It is hard though, especially like given my condition, or like given, you know, everything that I've been through, which I don't really like to whine about it, but I do think that it has an effect on me. And I believe that would be similar to everybody, right? What happened to you and where you came from and everything is part of your story and part of you now, and also has an effect on your future. But yeah, anyway, we'll see what happens. Oh, so at church today, I like that church, honestly, and so I share my opinions, actually. This is such a difficult thing, actually, and you'd be surprised. A lot of people, me myself included, are kind of hesitant to share their true opinions. But I've just been more like white ass nigga going hard as fuck, not caring too much, but also caring in a sense because I do share my opinions, and I don't share it in a way that I'm trying to make other people feel terrible. I try to share it with tact, I suppose you could say. But I say, like, just kind of genuine answers when people ask me questions about, like, what I'm interested in or what I'm doing. I share about what I think, who I'm listening to, and we're having some pretty good conversations, I would say. I kind of enjoy it. And there was a new person there today. There's been quite a few new people, and it's also nice because it's like I'm talking to, like, men for once, white men for once. It makes a huge difference if you're not aware of the people that you're talking to. Their identity makes a pretty big difference, generally. And if you don't believe me, watch like a video of Saudi Arabia or of Africa or something. It's just the cultural differences can make a huge impact. Not only that, but identity differences as well. Some people just kind of quote unquote get it more than other people. But anyways, not to go off on a huge tangent about that, but it was nice to see a new person there. And I hope I don't make other people, like, really uncomfortable. I kind of have a feeling that I do, but I don't really know what to do about that. And it's kind of tough. Like, it's a tough thing because for myself, I kind of have a natural urge to make everybody feel good. And it's just impossible to actually do that. I've tried that in the past, and you just end up being like a doormat or a piece of jello or a chameleon, and it's never as fun, it's never as authentic. And but I was talking to these guys, and we ended up talking about Jews and, like, kind of like the state of the world, and like the reality as it is. Like, I was sharing about my book idea, about how people are kind of become like separated, in essentially separated realities is what's going on now. And we were talking about, I can't exactly remember how Jews came up, but one guy was saying that he was like the Shabbos Goy for a Jew. I think that's what he said, because he lit their cigarette, because I think it was like maybe during a time when Jews are not supposed to be using tools or something like that. And so he's like he inadvertently became like the Shabbos Goy for a Jew. I think that's what he was saying. That made me laugh, like, genuinely. Because that's so my humor. Like, that's so funny to me. If you don't know, Shabbos Goy is like a goyim are like the cattle. That's how Jews see Gentiles or non-Jews. And then Shabbos, that means, I think it means kind of like a helper or a servant, or like a kind of like those things, like a helper or a servant to the Jews, like a helper Goy. It's just funny. So yeah, but I was saying about, like, the era of, like, because we were talking about how legalistic it became, like, Judaism, since, like, the Pharisaical or the Rabbinic Judaism, came as a direct result to Christ. or was more like it was like it was like the rejection. It was like those that rejected Christ, and they have all these like legalistic things. What's up with you? What's going on with you? What's going on? Cat's having an episode himself. But anyway, so yeah, it's kind of tough to like get through the lonely, crazy, like difficult moments. Yeah, so but I think that like relationship and that, those are good things, like those are natural and normal things, but I think that it's like a growing together type of thing, and I think it happens over time. I'm not going to try and rush it. I'm just going to see what happens, and yeah, I'm looking forward actually to studying the Bible together. I really like studying the Bible. I wish more people like enjoyed that. It's kind of hard to find people that have any kind of interest that I do. But I think it's coming actually, because I've been praying about all this stuff, and honestly I was in like a worse spot before, and it's like God is providing. You know what I mean? God is really providing. So thanks be to God, and I'm just gonna keep trusting in Him. What's interesting too is that among Christians, there's a lot of disagreement as well. So I don't know, but one thing I like about this girl already is the fact that she said she goes out and does street advocacy. I'm not going to try and idealize her too much, but I really do appreciate that, because I think that a lot of the division within Christianity, I mean, it's good. I think that evangelization is important. Spreading the message is important. I think that's really important. So anyways, thanks be to God. Wish me luck on my date. It'll unfold as to God's plan and will, and yeah, so